I, first of all, thank Dave for stepping up because Apama was a little bit delayed, so he readily agreed to do a substitution. So, welcome.
Okay. So the way I'm going to evaluate tonight is I'm basically going to just hit on what Genadi excelled at, what he wanted to work, what he may want to work on, and then what the challenge is. And I'm going to try and link these together. Then I'll touch on overall whether he hit the mark with the research part of his speech. So to kick off, Genadi, one thing I really thought was strong were the changes of pace that you brought. It was both in verbally and also in your movement. One great example was when you were talking about fear versus excitement. As you went in the pendulum, you sped up as you talked about excitement and it got really fast, and then the fear, everything slowed down. And so I felt that was a really strong way to do it, and I saw that throughout the speech, that you're able to vary up the pace of your speech to draw us in, get us excited when we needed to, and slow it down when we needed to have a think and really focus on what you were talking about. So that was great. One area that I felt was effective, but we could take it a little bit more. You were talking about, you just got to the point where you were talking about how the fear guides you, and the fear can actually show you what we want. And you actually got a bit of a laugh when you just stopped and went, we're actually afraid of what we want. And you got a bit of a laugh, and then you went off to your next point. And if you can just slow down and recognize when you're getting a laugh, laughter doesn't just make you feel good as a speaker that everybody enjoyed it, but it's also a learning point. People are going to remember what they laughed at, so if you can pause and let that happen a little bit, something I'm terrible at as well. I'm a bit worried that they're not going to laugh, so I'm off to the next point. But that could be one thing you could add in there. And then on that same point, a challenge for you is, while the vocal variety was good and the movement was good, you were often moving over to a point and then you were taking off again, and it'll have more power and you'll get more connection with a piece of the audience if you can stick around for a little while, make the point, then move on to your next point. But the movement overall was really good. You certainly weren't stuck to the spot. Now the whole image of my compass for joy, I thought it was a great image that we could stick in our head, and I'll definitely remember it when I walk out the door. So I felt that was great. And I also like the fact that you built your story up to it before you announced that. So we really understood what you meant by it. You didn't just start off with compass for joy. You built into it, and it really stuck with me. One area moving over is when you did talk about the fear part. I would have liked you to draw us in a bit more and let us get to know you. You talked about you were afraid, and you challenged yourself to go and take on your fears. I would have liked to have known why you were afraid. What was it? That would have drawn me in a bit further and create a bond. I'm sure most of us would have had some of those similar reasons for being afraid. So that was one area that you could draw us in a little bit. And then just finally on the research piece, it was a well-constructed speech, and it was obvious that you worked at it, but you didn't really bring in a lot of research. And I felt one area that could make this speech more powerful is when you did talk about how excitement and fear are basically the same two sides of a coin, and they go each way. Was there some science behind that you could tell us about? Is there something physiological that the exact same thing happens? It's just whether it's fear or excitement. Could have brought that in. I think it would have made the point even stronger. But overall, I thought it was a great story, an excellent message, and you really got things across well. And keep going with it. Thanks.